We've been waiting for a Tri Fold phone. We even covered that last week in a video showing off what a Tri Fold could potentially look like, and it looks absolutely crazy, amazing. And Huawei is going to announce a new tri-folding phone on September 10th, and it will be released a week or two, I believe, after that. So it would come out alongside the iPhone 16 series. It's also supposed to be the most expensive. It's gonna have a 10-inch folding display on the main one, and it's gonna be the most expensive smartphone panel ever. This means it's probably gonna cost at least $2,500, maybe even $3,000 for this device. Now, Huawei doesn't have Android on it. They had an issue here in America, and American companies can't work with Huawei because Huawei was doing something, so reportedly, or maybe they did know, with North Korea, and I think other countries that America doesn't want to have companies support. And that's why Huawei phones are no longer here in America, and they don't use American technologies or American processors or American softwares at all anymore. And if you get this one, it's not to say that I haven't used a Huawei phone in so long. I think the last one I used was like when it was a Pixel phone. And now, like I said, it doesn't have Android. It's reportedly fast and nice and everything like that. But I still want to try this out. I would love to see this phone in person. A tri-folding phone announced in 8 days from now. It's insane. I am so looking forward to this one. I will report back when we know more about this tri-folding phone. Now, speaking of non-folding phones, what a transition, right? No, not folding phones, but just regular slab phones. The Galaxy S25 series of phones looks like they're gonna go back to worldwide release of all Snapdragon processors. No more half Exynos in certain places, and then Snapdragon in others. It would be Snapdragon all around the world with the 8th Gen 4. A report has come out, and they're saying that reportedly Samsung will be using a high quality Qualcomm chip worldwide, and that obviously is gonna end up being the Snapdragon 8th Gen 4. Now, here in America, that would just be business as usual. We haven't used anything but Qualcomm chips in a really, really long time from Samsung's flagship phones. And beyond that, you're looking worldwide, this would be kind of a going back to sorts. What was it? The Snapdragon, I think 8th Gen 2 was worldwide with all the S phones. I could be wrong, but I know they did do that, and then they did an about face last year, and it looks like they're doing another turnaround again this year. And the 8th Gen 4 will be the king of processors in Samsung's S25 series. S25, 25 Plus, and 25 Ultra. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is due to be announced in mere days. And what are the specs gonna be for the iPhone 16 Pro Max? Well, let's talk about it. Starting off with the 6.9-inch, 120 Hertz Super Retina XDR display, so a nice big display, but don't go crazy. This is a very similar looking iPhone over the last handful of years. 1200 nit peak SDR brightness, which isn't super bright. You're looking at, I mean, that's SDR. I don't know what the SDR side is on the Samsung side, and maybe it's just as low, but I know the HDR brightness goes up to like what, 2600 nits of brightness, 3000 nits of brightness, something like that. Apple A18 Pro, so obviously we have our Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processors currently. This would be Apple's version of that, but it's not made by Qualcomm, but it is the Apple A18 Pro. It's gonna be powerful, just like all their processors are lately. 48 megapixel dual layer main, 48 megapixel ultra wide, 12 megapixel 5x Tetra Prism telephoto camera. Again, they usually have nice cameras, and I would expect something similar with this one. The battery size is 4676 with 40 watt charging, but even though it's faster than Samsung's charging, at least the Z Fold 6, it's not as fast as the S24 Ultra. It's probably still not going to charge as fast. They have a lot of they have software in place that kind of limits this kind of thing so that it doesn't really go as fast as it possibly can. 8 gigs of RAM, which is not as much as the 12 and 16 we see on Android phones, but Apple doesn't really necessarily need all that much RAM with their operating system. A capture button still on the side there, so on the left-hand side you'll get the button that is a customizable button that you can use it for pretty much anything, and the expected price is $11.99. Now, if you were wondering what we're gonna see with the S25 edition of phones, the 25, 25 Plus, 25 Ultra, here you go. And you can see it's gonna have the rounded corners on all of them. Obviously, the 25 and 25 Plus are definitely more rounded. You still have a kind of a square design on the Ultra version, but still it does have the rounded corners rather than just down. But regardless, the phones do look different. When I look at these, you know, these are obviously renders of what we think the phones are going to look like based off this. A couple things you can notice, it does look like the bezels are bigger on the 25 Ultra. They all have the circle camera at the top, which you would expect. And then beyond that, again, it's just more of a completely rounded look on these phones. I think they all look really, really nice. Obviously, the Ultra looks a little bit more high class because it's more straight and more squared off. But honestly, all of them look great, and they're all gonna be very similar in terms of the display sizes like we've seen in the past. It should be what, 6.2, 6.7, and like 6.8-ish on the Ultra. But yeah, what do you think? Which one are you gonna grab and why? I'll be grabbing the 25 Ultra, and I always wanna grab the Plus, but I don't need it. Just because it looks a little bit different, and I haven't had a phone that looks like that from Samsung in quite a while. One UI 7 hype is crazy. This is really, really supposed to be one of those updates that really changes things for Samsung in terms of look and feel. And that's what software really is look and feel, and then also the features that are built into it. And remember, this big graphic of redesigned app icons and new battery indicators and vertical app drawers, Galaxy AI more advanced than ever, the revamped live activities, new lock screen customizations, biggest change to One UI ever. Separate notification and quick settings for a clutter-free experience. You can create your own Galaxy avatar, smooth animation, dark mode, icons, new home screen customizations, and more is due to launch, or at least it was due to launch in August, and then September rolls around and we still don't have it, but it's still reportedly, the beta anyway, supposed to launch in September. We still don't know exactly when in September, but one of the big things coming out is this tweet from Ice Universe saying the following about Mr. TM Rowe, saying that one thing that is particularly worth noting is that TM Rowe personally supervised the development of One UI 7. He began to pay special attention to the software experience more than ever before. And that's kind of funny because, like, why wouldn't he have done that a long time ago, especially when things were a lot more, not a lot more, but like you should have always been doing this. You know, you haven't changed the hardware all that much in years. Software should have been a higher priority, and sure, they are pushing out AI and things like that, but the overall look, feel, and finish of your operating system should always be refined, improved, make it faster, lighter, add features. It all goes hand in hand. But at the same time, you know, I am really looking forward to this because of the fact that you use a phone, and once you get past the hardware feeling and look of it, and you kind of get like blasé about it, software is that next big thing, because software can change a lot more quicker and more often if they want than hardware can, because hardware is only going to change once a year. You could literally change the software all the time, or add things, or remove things, or enhance things, whatever it may be. So One UI 7, I think the things that I'm personally looking forward to are, and they're pretty lame too, let's be honest, they're not that impressive. One of them is the vertical app drawer. I'm really looking forward to that. I don't like when I swipe up, where's my phone, right here. One of the things I don't like about Samsung phones, I haven't liked it for years, and I know you can switch launchers, but for the last handful of years, I've just been using the Samsung launcher. Is just when you swipe up and you swipe, you're gonna go left and right. I wanna go up and down. That's gonna be a nice little thing. Smooth animations, that is awesome. One thing about the Galaxy phones is sometimes the animations are smooth, but sometimes they'll clutter, they'll just, no, I'm not having a mental thing, a medical situation there. That's kind of what they do. They kind of stutter. But beyond that, you know, all the other things are going to be, and then I guess the look and feel of it in terms of the indicators being different, the apps being redesigned, the app icons being redesigned, just the look and feel, the smooth animations, and the vertical app drawer. Everything else is just icing on that cake. I've been speaking about Samsung's One UI 7 update for over a month now, but One UI 6.1.1 is a really nice update as well. It's out for the Galaxy Z Flip 6 and Fold 6, and it's also going to be coming to a bunch of other phones as well, but it's gonna be a big update, guys, and it comes out like in a few days officially. So the information that's being let out from Samsung is that the software update for One UI 6.1.1 will be coming to the S25 series and begin rolling out in Korea September 5th, followed by North America and Europe September 9th. Software updates for additional Galaxy devices will be available in the coming weeks. Into those following devices is a laundry list of devices from the S23 phones, including the fan editions, the S24 phones like I mentioned, Tab, S9, S9 Plus, S9 Ultra, Flip 5, and Fold 5, and it's gonna bring with it some AI features that aren't on there already for communication, creativity, and productivity. And also, you're gonna be able to easily draft emails and social media posts with matching language and styling using Chat Assistant's Composer mode. You can type a few words about what you want to say, and the Composer will create sentences for you, suggest replies, and so on and so forth. Also followed by the camera updates as well, with Flex Cam for the Flip 6 and the Flip 5, Instant Slow-Mo with HDR video format, which it already kind of has, I guess, but Gallery Live Effect, Gallery Motion Clipper, Portrait Studio, Sketch Conversion, Overlay, Translation, and Expert RAW. It's going to be a huge update, and again, it'll be out in just a few days. This is officially from Samsung, so I've been waiting for a nice update to come to your phone. Wait no longer. And then right after that, most likely we're gonna have the beta for One UI 7, so if you're able to sign up for that, you'll get even more stuff as well. So it's gonna be a software-packed end of summer event. Your Galaxy S25 Ultra to be super thin and get thinner every single year that they've released a Galaxy S25 Ultra. Well, we know that they're going to be the thinnest ever, but how thin is it going to be, and against the competition that they've had for the last years of Galaxy S line phones? Well, Ice Universe has been kind enough to lead out the information, S20 Ultra all the way to the S25 Ultra, and you can see it's now smaller, I think. Let me just make sure. Yeah, basically, well, not every single way. Basically almost smaller in every single way. Thickness, definitely. Look at that, 8.2 millimeters. Big drop in thickness overall for that. Very, very impressive with all of that. But, you know, just to see if, you wanted to see what this actually looked like in terms of how tall and all that versus it. So you're gonna look at, it's gonna be, the height is gonna be 162.8 millimeters. The width will be 77.6 millimeters. And the thickness is gonna be 8.2 millimeters. So thinnest phone ever from a Galaxy S line phone. And this is going to bring with it probably not a hell of a lot of improvements in terms of the actual specs. You're still probably gonna get that 5,000 milliamp battery, still gonna get the 45 watt charging. I'm pretty sure at this point, none of that stuff is changing. You'll have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. We should have 16 gigs of RAM on this version. I won't be surprised, but I would be surprised if we end up only having that. But ultimately, don't be asking for a lot from this phone. It looks like the companies that are really pushing the envelope in terms of specs, Google's doing it. They've completely changed their Fold line. They've done a nice little change with their regular phones as well. Like, it looks more like an iPhone, which, whatever, but it still doesn't look like it did last year. Unlike Samsung's phones generally look about the same every single year. Then you've also looking at that the charging and the batteries haven't changed all that much in the Western side, and Samsung's continuing that trend, unfortunately, with all of this. So as much as this phone S25 Ultra will probably end up being one of the best phones of the year. By how much? It's getting thinner and thinner, honestly. And it's getting more ridiculous that they're not really pushing bigger batteries, faster charging. Why? Is it at the expense of making these things thinner and thinner, but not improving, might be improving battery life a little bit, but it's not massive jumps and gains on here unless you put a bigger battery life and faster charging. Come on, why can't you give us that? Seems a little bit ridiculous. Let me know your thoughts on this. Have a great day. We'll see you down the road. Peace.